Why didn't he stab him in the heart or anything? Because that wasn't his weak point. But what was his weak point? Well, during the fights, Rawana's brother had decided that Rawana had broken some rules. So he teamed up with Rama. And guess what? Rawana's brother knew his weakness. And he says, what you have to do is shoot him with an arrow through the belly button. So what happened? Rama took his bow and arrow, shot him through the belly button, and Rawana died. So now, Rama now owns and controls the kingdom, so everything's okay, right? No, not really. See, because for 14 years, Sinta had been captured and kept with Rawana. So Rama, being a normal man, he's now a human, he's not a god, thought, okay, how do I prove that my wife did not do anything with Rawana? So what she had to do is she actually had to burn herself. She had to put herself on fire. Do you think she died? You guys think she died?
Yeah.
No, I hear no's, I hear yeses. She was chaste. She was good. Because she was chaste and good, she couldn't die. Okay, so now Chinta had proven her chastity and proven her loyalty to Rama. So now everything's good, right? Well, it was for many, many years. But then something happened. The country started having famines. It started having droughts. People started getting hungry. And guess what? They started blaming Sinta again. They said this must be happening because the gods are angry. The gods are angry because Rawana must have touched Sinta. So now what does Rama do? He's under pressure from all his people. He banishes Sinta to the forest. Twice, 2 strikes. Okay. Now, at the time Sinta was banished, she was actually pregnant with Rama's children. So Sinta went back to the paradise that she had been in before and gave birth to her 2 sons who grew up. Eventually Rama realized what he did and went to find Sinta. At that time he ran into his 2 sons, which were already 20 years old. At that point in time he asked Sinta to forgive him. He says, Sinta, I'm sorry for what I've done. Please forgive me. Sinta, she wasn't young anymore. She thought, 2 strikes is kind of more than I want. So she says, Rama, rather than be with you, I'm going to ask the earth gods to take me away. So what happened is the earth opened up. A huge throne came up with the earth goddess, and took Sinta down with her. So Rama lived without a wife for the rest of his life. And that's the story of the Ramayana in a very short version. Okay? Now there's other stories about the puppets. There's also the Mahabharata. The Mahabharata would take me 20 years to teach you. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. Mahabharata became very popular in Indonesia when they put out a bunch of comic books about it. Question? Oh, honey, it was written in a book. Is it real? Not necessarily. What was the story about? The story was about Rama. Rama at one time was a god. His name was Vishnu. He came down to earth as a human, and as a human, he had good and he had bad. Okay? And that's really what the story is about. So is it real? No, it's not real. But it is a story. The story is about virtues and about all the demons that we face ourselves. Now the other story that we have basically talks about a bunch of the Pandava brothers. The Pandava brothers consist of Bhima, Yudhishthira or Samyaji, Nakala, Setawa, and Arjuna, the most famous one of all, right? Okay, now I don't have Arjuna here because I can only bring so many puppets. But in addition to those puppets, they also have servants. The servants are the 4 clowns. Samar, who you guys see here, very famous. You can see his features. This is Chepat here. Okay, everybody see Chepat? And also we have Petro and we have Garang. Now we also have an alter ego. Who is the alter ego? He looks kind of like this guy, doesn't he? But what's the difference about him?
He looks evil.
He's red, good. He's red. So he's kind of the Nakal one, right? He's kind of naughty. This one's kind of good. This one's kind of bad. Okay. It has a little different too. So you guys can take a look at the puppets, pass them around. So this is what we call, but when Chepot turns red, we call him Badong. Okay? Which is kind of the naughty Chepot. Okay, so you guys can pass around and see them. Now their heads do move up. Chepot's got a little string through here that moves up. You guys can put your hand through there and play with it. If you gotta put your hand inside the puppet, and you'll feel a little loop up there. And then a little loop. She's been a little bit tight. Now, I'm not going to tell you again the Mahabharata story, but you guys can go and get all the comic books which are made about it and read it, okay? Yeah, they're comic books about it. Big comic books. Mahabharata, there's probably 1,000 characters. So obviously I'm not going to introduce you to all the characters. No, you can find it anyhow. Now, to tell you a little bit about the puppets, the good guys, you can see, are very refined. They tend to be handsome, tend to be nice looking. They don't have a lot of fangs out there. They got good features. These are more refined creatures. Now, as I get to be the bad guys, like on the back of this gentleman's shirt, you can see that the eyes start bulging out. They start getting fangs. Their faces tend to be green or red colors. They look more like ogres. Okay? Yeah, they look more like ogres. Now, over the years, the puppets have changed. This puppet here, which I said is very special to me, you look at the eyes. See what the eyes look like? They're slanted, right? You don't see the pupils, you don't see the colors. Now, as the years have gone by, the puppeteers have said, well, I want my puppets to look more human. So you look at this puppet, this looks pretty human, right? Very handsome guy, etc. Now, it takes about 2 to 4 weeks to make one of these puppets. Okay? If you just look at this puppet, and I'll hand him around, just look at the details on the beads, you guys. You know, we're scared of that one? Okay, you want to look at that? Yeah. Okay. Look at the carving on the head, look at the beads, and look at the very, very fine painting.
Yes, I am.
So that actually is a very, very...
I'm so sorry. I mean not.
That's very much a work of art here. Okay, now what I'm going to do, you guys, is I'm going to show you a little bit of a performance. Okay, we're going to look at the doll eggs, and we're going to actually see a performance. And I'll show you guys a funny part, okay?
I'm standing on the shirt.
What happened to the movie?